Obama administration officials are on scene with an update on the Gulf oil spill, why the Justice Department is also heading to the site of the accident. Gauging the political impact of the Gulf spill, what the president now says about his plan to allow more offshore drilling. And is it really the economy? Peter Butel analyzes what is pushing and pulling natural gas prices over the last 24 hours.
From the Energy News Center in Washington, D.C., this is the Energy Report with Susan McGinnis.
And good afternoon, I'm Tyler Suiters in for Susan McGinnis. Thanks for joining us for this Friday edition of the Energy Report. Right now, leaders from Homeland Security, Interior, and EPA are all in Louisiana tracking efforts to contain that massive oil spill from the wrecked Deepwater Horizon rig. And soon, the Justice Department will also be on the scene, considering legal action there. Attorney General Eric Holder now says in the wake of the spill, DOJ will, quote, protect the environment and the American taxpayers. Late this afternoon, administration officials gave an update on the cleanup operation.
The coordinated federal partnership, including the Departments of Homeland Security, Defense, Commerce, Interior, and the EPA, continues to oversee BP's deployment of a combination of tactics. This week, as you know, BP began conducting controlled burns designed to remove large quantities of oil from the open water in an effort to protect shoreline, marine, and other wildlife. BP continues to use chemical dispersants, which, along with natural dispersions of oil, will address a large part of the slick. 139,459 gallons of dispersant have been used to date. Among other response activities include skimming, subsurface wellhead operations, and significant booming efforts.
Out on the Gulf, choppy seas are now hindering efforts to control this spreading slick from the sunken drilling platform. More than 200,000 feet of booms were deployed, but 4-foot waves washed crude right over the floating barriers and pushed them to the shore. The first victims so far, swampy coastal islands that serve as nurseries for aquatic life, the foundation of the region's fisheries. Forecasters say the winds will turn to the east over the weekend, washing oil toward the Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida beaches. The leak from 3 underwater piping sections is now estimated at more than 200,000 gallons a day, and it's still unknown exactly how long that leak will persist. All attempts to activate a shutoff valve on the ocean floor has so far failed. Other measures to control the oil, like drilling relief wells, could take up to 3 months' time. And the damage is also spreading to the larger oil industry. President Obama now says no new Gulf drilling will be allowed without precautions against another Deepwater Horizon disaster. He's now giving Interior Secretary Ken Salazar 30 days to figure out what went wrong there and to recommend measures to prevent any recurrence of this. The president also makes it clear the oil industry has lost a lot of credibility here.
Let me be clear. I continue to believe that domestic oil production is an important part of our overall strategy for energy security. But I've always said it must be done responsibly for the safety of our workers and our environment. The local economies and livelihoods of the people of the Gulf Coast, as well as the ecology of the region, are at stake.
Now, you may remember it was just 1 month ago when President Obama angered many environmentalists by rolling out his plan to open new offshore areas to oil and gas exploration. He tied the plan to job creation and economic recovery, among other things. Now, White House Energy Policy Advisor Carol Browner says that this oil spill certainly has the potential to influence administration energy policy going forward.
I think it becomes part of the debate, and that's the way that, these things happen. Something happens and it has to then be incorporated into the debate. But we're looking at all energy production when we talk about comprehensive energy reform for this country.
Naturally, the Gulf spill also dominated discussion on a hearing on offshore drilling in Virginia. The Minerals Management Service is taking public comment on a plan to open more than 3 million acres off the Virginia coast for seismic testing and for exploration. But both environmental activists and also Defense Department supporters tell officials drilling there would endanger sensitive areas and also threaten naval training exercises. Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell and other supporters of offshore drilling believe the industry, NASA, and the DoD can all coexist in that area. More hearings on the issue are scheduled for next month on the planned lease sale off the Virginia coast. Despite the rig accident, crude oil prices are up this week, topping $86 a barrel right now. But natural gas took a big hit, falling 8% yesterday alone. The EIA reported a build in weekly storage numbers, but this is another cause for the price drop, according to the president of Cameron Hanover. Today, Peter Butel told me that energy commodity traders also had a significant hand in forcing nat gas prices down yesterday.
We've also seen a lot of people that had been selling short in this market. They have been covering over the last week or so, and so it appears that they just stopped their short covering. It seems that we had some producers in there at the higher numbers hedging forward production to an extent. So basically it was a matter of all the buying drying up and all the selling coming to the market.
The trend similar today, natural gas prices down as well on this Friday. Investigators in Kentucky now say that poor roof support is the cause of the second deadly U.S. coal mine accident this month alone. 2 miners were killed late Wednesday while working 4 miles down inside a western Kentucky mine owned by Alliance. That same mine has been cited at least 6 times this year alone for using too few supporting bolts in the roof. According to Kentucky's governor, recovery crews were very close to reaching the miners' bodies when new concerns about roof stability forced them to retreat to safety. Back to President Obama now, and he is asking for an additional $5 billion in advanced energy production tax credits. Last year's stimulus package included $2.3 billion in credits for companies making products like advanced battery systems for electric vehicles. But President Obama says companies used that money quickly, and the program was so oversubscribed that many companies were left out. Well, today in the Rose Garden, the president hailed 2 companies that received the tax credits as success stories of this program, including one we have featured here on Clean Skies News, A123 Systems. It's a company that makes advanced batteries at several plants in Michigan. The president says the company used part of its stimulus money to stop some of its jobs from going overseas.
And they've announced plans to build their first high-volume factory in Brownstown. So truth be told, A123 was looking to build that factory in Asia. But because it received that grant, it chose the state of Michigan for its largest and most innovative plant yet. And that plant will be one of 30 new plants to go fully operational over the next 6 years, manufacturing electric vehicle batteries and components right here in the United States of America. So this is what's possible in a clean energy economy.
The president added that A123 Systems will use Recovery Act funding to create 3,000 jobs by the end of 2012. They are separated by roughly 5,500 miles and 7 time zones, but now Germany and Mexico are sharing a common bond. On Sunday, the 2 countries will begin co-hosting a 3-day meeting in Bonn, Germany. It's an effort to break the deadlock in international climate negotiations. Representatives from 45 key countries, including representatives from here in the U.S., they will all be on hand for what is being called the Petersburg Dialogue. Germany's environment minister says that the conference should pave the way for the COP16 talks. They're taking place in Mexico this fall. And that is this Friday afternoon edition of the Energy Report. A reminder, you can reach us here in the nation's capital anytime. Our address is there at the bottom of your screen. It is contact@cleanskies.com. You can also follow us throughout your day on Facebook and Twitter. From all of us here in the Energy News Center, we're glad you're with us. I'm Tyler Cedars, and you're watching Clean Skies News.